The Jeep Gladiator is an awesome truck, but is it a dead end? Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Automotive JT. So I was kind of thinking, the Jeep Gladiator is an awesome truck. It really is. But is it a dead end? A dead end for Stellantis, the current owner, and for existing buyers buying a new model. And I've been thinking about this myself because, I like to get new trucks pretty darn often. And I'm not going to leave the Jeep Gladiator. I love the Jeep Gladiator. I think it's awesome. But I've been having an inkling, that maybe I should get a newer Jeep Gladiator. So I kind of did some looking, some thinking. And, I could get a different trim level. I mean, there's the Rubicon, the Willys, the Mojave. There's a bunch of different trim packages you can get with the Jeep Gladiator. Although I would argue that the Mojave is probably a little bit more than that because it does have the different suspension, the different ride height, of course, the different options and things. So that might be a little more than just a trim change. But nonetheless, what's available out there really is the same thing. It's the same truck with just a little bit different dressing on it. So there's no real motivation for me to trade off the Jeep Gladiator that I have. And if you didn't know, this is a 2020 Sport S. It's not the lowest trim level, but it's certainly not the highest. And it has all of the stuff on it that I want. Now, some of it I have put on it, like the bigger radio screen and the bigger wheels and tires and the front bumper and that kind of thing. But basically, it has everything on it that I want right now, with the exception of a few small things. There are still some things that I'm going to add to it, but nothing major, because I would just be redoing things that I've already done, I think. Like putting different wheels on, maybe different tires, which I'm not opposed to, by the way. I do like to try out new things, so there is some interest there for me as well. But I think Jeep is very unique. And what I mean by that is Jeep is Jeep. You're not going to really change the body style much. You remember several years ago when Jeep went to the square headlight? That was a disaster. Because you see, the Jeep enthusiasts want the Jeep as a Jeep. In other words, with the round headlights, with the slotted grille, all that good stuff. And it's a heck of a risk for Jeep to change really anything about the appearance. Jeep has remained pretty much the same looking, except for that hiccup of the square lights, over the years. I mean, things have modernized a little bit, but man, if you put a current modern Jeep up against an older late model Jeep, you're not going to see a huge difference in appearance. Obviously, the interior's updated. We have updated radios and materials and things like that, the gauge cluster. But still, really, it's pretty much the same as it was. And the problem, I think, in that it's kind of a dead end is, how do you attract current buyers back into the dealerships to buy new model Jeeps? Unless you've had one for a while and it's ready to go. Maybe it has a lot of miles. Maybe there have been issues with it, things like that. What are you going to give the customer, the existing customer, to come back in and buy another one? And I don't know what Jeep can really do about that. Obviously, the Gladiator's kind of a niche vehicle anyway. I mean, it's unique looking. It is a truck. It is capable. But still, it's kind of a niche vehicle. I find that people either love it or people hate it. So attracting new buyers with body style changes and things like that, probably not going to happen. So there are a couple of things that I think Jeep is looking at doing. We have the hybrids coming out. That might be something who people are more inclined with greener vehicles and better fuel economy and all of that kind of thing might be interested in going to. And then, of course, the EV revolution is coming. Whether you like it or not, they are coming. I think we're still probably a good 5 to 8, 10 years away from everybody owning an electric vehicle, but it will be here eventually, and that would be something completely different as far as the powertrain goes for current existing Jeep owners. Now, will those folks jump to the EVs? Not without kicking and screaming. You know, I get a lot of comments on the channel from enthusiasts that say they would never go to an EV. So it's going to take a complete cultural change for that to happen, I think. So the EVs, I don't believe, really are the next step for current Jeep owners. Now, you can improve the materials and things inside. I mean, we could get plusher seats, maybe more functionality out of the infotainment system, bigger screens, things like that. That's going to attract some folks. I mean, I did change the radio in my Jeep Gladiator to something bigger because I wanted it. And I know there are folks out there who change vehicles even if it's about colors. Now, there is another thing I think Jeep can do, and that's to get more into production aftermarket vehicles, if that makes any sense. And what I'm talking about is building Jeeps that have more of the things on them that people put on them in the aftermarket, like lifts. You know, you can get a Mopar lift installed through Jeep right now, and that's awesome. I think they should have done that years ago. But let's have them that way right out of the factory. In other words, when I go to the lot without having to buy a Mojave or something, let's have a lifted Jeep from the factory sitting on the shop, not an installed aftermarket item. Because even if you buy that 2-inch lift, that Mopar lift, the dealership most likely is going to send it out to an aftermarket provider. It's still not going to be done by Jeep themselves. Still going to be covered by warranty and all that stuff. You just hope that the third party they're using knows what they're doing and you get what you bargained for. Some of the other things, different bumper options, maybe packages that include winches, camper shells. A lot of people like that kind of thing. Rooftop tents, kind of like a little specialty division, if you will, but from the factory. Trucks that are sitting on the lot that you can go in and buy. Not things that you have to order and wait for 8 months. Although that's not bad either. I mean, there are a lot of folks out there who will wait and will order. And I think it's always good to have those things as an option for people like that. But I think they need to have more of these kind of things available straight out of the factory, sitting on the lot to attract new buyers. Because I do think the Jeep Gladiator is at a dead end. I don't know what more Stellantis Jeep can do to entice people who already own Jeep Gladiators to go into the dealership and fork out money for a brand new one. Because really, all you're going to get, if you do that and move to a different trim level, are a couple of different aesthetic things, stickers, maybe a different paint job, and that's about it. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Is the Jeep Gladiator at a dead end? Did it start out that way? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about the Toyota Tacoma with an upcoming redesign very soon. And Rob Motive MT, all about mini trucks. Currently, my 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.